Welcome to the Service MVP podcast. My name is Joe Crisara, and welcome to the show. We do have a very special guest who I've known for just a little while, but every time I talk to him, I get more and more excited. And his name is Ryan Lee, and he is with Landscape Lighting Secrets. Ryan, welcome to our show. I really appreciate you coming on with us.
Thank you, Joe. Man, I'm so excited to be here. Long-time listener, first-time guest. So really excited.
I think we have a mutual admiration society going for each other, and that's really a great place to start. Ryan is going to cover a subject called 3 Steps to Doubling Your Profits Without Any Extra Effort. Now, of course, Ryan is a specialist in the landscape lighting business, and his passion is to illuminate the outdoors so that we can enjoy that space and not just be a dark place at night. Ryan, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in this business?
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. So I'm an addict. I'm not even a recovering addict. I'm just an addict to landscape lighting. And I got started into this years ago in 2007. I was actually a window cleaner. I got my start because it's easy to start a window cleaning company. You just grab a squeegee and a ladder and you're good to go. But I stumbled into it with my brother. We got into Christmas lights and then we got into landscape lighting. And I could not believe when my brother told me he had done 2 jobs where someone had paid him $4,000 to do landscape lighting. I just could not believe it. I mean, we grew up with a single mother, not poor, but poor. And that just blew my mind. So I decided to just get into landscape lighting without knowing anything about it. Didn't have an electrical background, didn't have a lighting background, and ended up growing that business actually to several $1 million a year in Texas. Sold that business in 2019. And now full time, I get to help others start and grow their own landscape lighting businesses and divisions.
Well, I could be a testimony for you. I had a house in Northern Illinois. When he bought the landscaping package, we had a very forward-thinking landscaper, and there's several different companies who could be involved with this. Obviously, you could start just a landscape lighting business, but also electricians or HVAC people, and this landscaper, Jerry the landscaper. If you go back on my stories, you hear the story about Jerry the landscaper. He did a complete redesign of my backyard and had little rooms, he called them, and each room had different lighting and brightness and illumination. A pond, a koi pond with lighting in it, you called the Alpine garden with Austrian pines and a little deck out there for myself, the English garden, the Japanese maple and things like that. So he had a bunch of little vignettes he made. Of course, I paid a lot of money for this landscaping. It included the lighting and it included the replacement bulbs and things like that. But I tell you what, here's the story. Here's how it ends. The house sold for $459,000, and that was $150,000 more than any house in the neighborhood had sold for, because I really feel like when people walk by my house in the evening, it was like Epcot Center. They really loved it. And so it validates what you're here for, Ryan, which is to help create values in blue collar professionals to see if they could open their mind a little bit to this really unique profit center.
Yeah, like landscape lighting is so transformational. That's one of the things I love about it. When I cleaned windows, people liked me. I did a good job with the service, customer service and all that stuff. And they're like, oh, we love having our windows clean. It felt good. But there's something about lighting. When you kick those lights on that first night, it literally changes their lives. They feel like they're living in a palace. They feel like they're royalty. So it helps them feel better. Plus with, the world that we live in now, people are facing depression and all sorts of things that they didn't used to experience with the rise of social media and phones and all this. And so when you give them that lighting that gives them like a resort-like feel in their backyard, it really impacts their life on a positive basis. So it's so awesome when someone gives you a check for $20,000 to do their landscape lighting and they're like giving you a hug at the same time. It's such a good feeling.
And I could definitely testify to that. There's many evenings that Julie, my wife, and I sat in the backyard and feeling like we were in the Villa d'Este in Italy or something like that, because
exactly.
it was just a unique space. Felt like, man, we are working our butt off. We deserve to spend an evening together, away from the TV, away from the noise. I think that is becoming something that's more popular. People are, although we've been entrenched in social media and other kind of media and things like that, I think now people are finding that value in that serene moment where a couple or a family can just spend that time together. And to me, I think this is something that is healthier not just mental health, but even physical health, where we could just get away from all the distractions and just enjoy the serene, well-lit environment in the outdoors. So I think that is something that I can tell you I've experienced myself, and that's great. Well, the number one, let's go. We got 3 different things we're going to do to increase the profits and using the same thing you already have. So we're not going to do extra stuff. We're just going to add on this additional service that is we're going to talk about. And let's go ahead and talk about number one, which is if you're going to do this the right way and you're going to try to increase and double your net profits, double your profits without any extra effort. One thing you do have to do is position yourself as a lighting designer rather than just a lighting installer. Could you want to comment on that for me, Ryan?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you think about just like a typical tradesman, whether it's an electrician or HVAC, something like that, there's not a lot of ways to differentiate yourself. I mean, you can do that through branding, you can do it through customer service, but at the end of the day, the homeowner is just looking to get a particular problem solved. When you get into landscape lighting, it's really, really crucial that you differentiate yourself, and you can differentiate your existing home service business by saying, listen, I'm a certified lighting designer, right? And that is huge for a business because now you're a design professional and not just a worker, not just someone who gets work done. And so in our profession, we talk about like, we don't just sell fixtures because anyone can sell fixtures, but if you can go in and provide a lighting experience by choosing exact fixtures that should go in certain areas, dialing in the color temperature, dialing in the light intensity and how things you really want it to look. It's almost like creating a painting. That is what can differentiate yourself in your business, that really no one can replicate that because you are your own unique person in that regard.
Yeah, because if you become a designer, I think you're really starting, you got 2 for 1, I call it. The business of obviously installing conductors and making sure the electrical load and all that kind of stuff, the safety of the family is taken into consideration while you're doing everything up to code and in a quality way. But there's also that design element, which to me, every time I see it, like a furniture, interior designer or a electrical designer or somebody who designs an HVAC system, the design is probably 2/3 of what you're purchasing and not the work. It's the thing that somebody could think of what to do here because the average person isn't there. How much education is there available on the design of landscape in the outdoor space, Ryan?
Yeah, well, a couple of things, like you said, like if you're just like installing a widget or something, there's only so much you can charge because they can just go get someone else to install the widget, right? But if you separate yourself and you're a lighting designer, if you think about the top architects in the world, all these types of people, the top builders, people know that they can get a house for cheaper somewhere else, but they want that name on it. They want that person to do it. And so it really allows you to develop your own brand by becoming a better designer. Inside the landscape lighting industry, there's several resources that you can go to. I've got my own events that I do where we actually do 2-day in-person trainings that talk about the design, the install, the business side of it. There's other organizations that exist that actually focus on design. In fact, I just attended an event. It was 5 days, 5 days, intense. I mean, going from like 7:30 in the morning till 11:30 at night, just talking about lighting design and how to differentiate ourselves as designers. That's called ILI, the International Landscape Lighting Institute. And there's a lot of resources just if you're willing to take the time out of your day to go invest in yourself.
So become a designer and somebody learn how to create designs. And I always think that this is the thing that I think this is the thing that excites everybody who starts a business like this or gets into this part of the business, because it's like I can't wait to see that design come to life. Because when you're learning the designs, in a way, you're experiencing that excitement as well when you first learn how to do this. Would you say that's fair, Ryan?
Absolutely. And one of the easiest ways to like learn design and to just get started so you don't have excuses of like, well, I can't attend that event or I can't afford it or I can't take away time from my business, invest in a demo kit. So a demo kit is basically you get the real lights, the real transformer, but you have quick connects on the wire. So you can set up a demo kit in 10 minutes and show yourself and your potential client what 20 lights would look like in their backyard or on the front of their house. It's super simple. And it's the best way to learn design because if you set it up and you're like, man, that looks off, it looks a little bright, and you pull that fixture back maybe 6 inches, now all of a sudden it looks just right, right? Or maybe you need to add a second light to a tree, or a third or a fourth. And your client would be like, wait, how many lights are you going to put on that tree? And when you show them what 5 lights look like, and then all of a sudden they're like, no, we just want to do 1, and you show them what 1 looks like, suddenly you're not a salesperson, you're a lighting designer that knows what they're doing.
And then people sell themselves on it. It's not you selling anything.
Yes, 100%.
The second secret you've got here is for aimed at people who currently have a business that do electrical or HVAC or even landscaping, to say you can use your brand to create a unique niche. So we're not saying to start a whole new brand. We're just saying inside your current brand that's already dominating your market for landscaping, electrical, or HVAC or whatnot, you can use that brand to create a whole nother profit center or niche that hardly anybody would take advantage of.
Yeah,
Go ahead, tell us about that.
I mean, in my opinion, or at least in my experience, I know of 2 ways to grow a business. You could like take your business and go to like the next town over, right, or another state or something like that, and replicate what you've already done. Or you could stay right where you're at and add an additional service. And that's what we're talking about here. Is most of these businesses, they've worked hard, they've grinded, they've done all the stuff they need to do: customer service, branding, pricing. They do all this stuff, and they don't realize that's the hardest part. Now they've got this client list, this gold mine of an opportunity, these people that like them, that trust them, that have paid them money, and they showed up and they did what they said, they over delivered. And now all of a sudden, you don't have to pay for that client again. You don't have to do the grind. All you have to do is offer this new service. Say, hey, by the way, we now offer professional landscape lighting design and installation. And you could literally, most of these businesses could double, triple their profits by sending out a couple emails.
That is crazy. And, let's put it this way. They already have the marketing machine. They have the customer service machine. They got the software machine. They got people who are sometimes idle. Hey, let's keep them busy by doing these jobs. And so you're kind of using the inside machine you've already got. And that's the hardest part of starting a business like this, is getting customers to trust you. Well, if you already got 20,000 customers who trust you in your community, then you've already got something that would take years for a new company to build. Ryan, would you agree with that?
100%. And that's like you said, like, they've done the hard part. They've got these golden opportunities in front of them. So if I came into their market and no one knows me, no one knows my brand, it's going to be a lot of work to go get 200 clients to give you $10,000 for lighting, which is a $2 million business. Whereas some of these other people that already have the brand, they've already got the likability, they've got the trust. So they're sitting on a potential $2 million business they don't even know about.
Wow. And think about it this way. If you have, if you're going to search, like if people did a search for plumbers or electricians or HVAC installations, you'd have a ton of service companies that would come up. But if you search landscape lighting, I want to get my outdoor lighting done here. What would come up is Lowe's and Home Depot and things like that, or Amazon would sell lights. So you're not going to get you're not going to get people to design it coming up right to the front when you search. That's going to make the search results way less money than it would if you're competing with 10 other electricians or plumbers. Does that make sense, Ryan? What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many reasons why I love this industry, but this industry has not reached near its full potential. I look at the HVAC, electrical, plumbing, some of these more advanced home service industries, and they're highly competitive. There's just a lot more demand, right? And people are willing to go do that. Landscape lighting is really a hidden gem. A lot of people are afraid of it because there's electricity involved, but what they don't realize is it's low voltage, and so yeah, obviously if you're an electrician listening, you're like, yeah, I got this. But the nice thing about this industry is it's kept the riffraff out, right? And so this is an excellent opportunity. Like you said, if you go do a Google search, there's just not a lot of lighting companies in your area. This is a great opportunity for you to take advantage of something before it gets hot. Now, my new profession is to grow this industry. So 5-10 years from now, maybe that's another story. But if you want to get in while you can, while it's still a golden opportunity, this is your chance.
That is amazing. I really love that. And I just think I was walking my way through it, and we didn't really bring this up before. But I started imagining all the businesses, like an HVAC business. You're putting an outdoor condensing unit in, or a unit that's outside the house. And then if you said, hey, this also includes since the unit's in the backyard, we're going to shift the focus away from the unit and put it onto your pergola or onto your living space over there, outside on your arborvitae trees or something like that. This way, it includes that landscaping package. When you do something like that, you're doing something that zero HVAC people would ever do, and it differentiates a
Right.
solution that in a way that nobody can. So that's what excites me. And again, HVAC techs know how to run low voltage. They already know how to do stuff like this. So we're not talking about, you're talking about a foreign language. It's just design. The design is the thing you need to learn, and the installation too. And you also do training on that too, Ryan. Is that true? Because that's the third part of it. Man, I'm moving through this so quick. Sorry about that. But the third part of it is, okay, Joe, it sounds good. I will learn how to design it. We'll learn how to use our brand to sell it. But here's the third part: the education to make sure that you have tools and you have people. Tell us a little bit about how you think you can already take what you already have and use those tools, and how that could be beneficial to a company.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm biased, right? But this industry is so awesome. There's really no startup costs. I mean, when I started it, I didn't know anything about electrical. I didn't know anything about lighting, and I didn't have any money. So if I can do it, why can't you? And most of the people listening to this already have this business. We already talked about the client list, but you also have the tools. I mean, if you have a drill, you have wire strippers, potentially a ladder. You might have to go buy a ladder, but most people already even have a ladder.
I would say
Uh,
so, yeah.
a flat spade shovel. The basics are going to get you started. Now, as you grow and get better and want to do more custom installations, maybe you need a core drill, maybe you need some different things. But really, for the most part, the startup costs are extremely low, especially if you compare it to some of these other industries. You need a wrapped van, because that wrapped van is going to help you get business. But even if you didn't have a wrapped van today, you've already got your existing brand or whatever, operate out of that and you're going to be good to go. So the only thing besides tools that you need is that education. You need that knowledge, you need that experience. And that's not that hard either.
You were telling me at your landscape lighting live event you were doing that it was really impressive what I heard. This is why I love having you on here, Ryan, because we walk a similar path here at our training. We don't just teach people things; we make them use it before they go home. Can you tell us a little bit about that element when you specifically do training? And because I always say training without trying to implement it in a way before you go back to your office is worthless. Could you tell us a little bit about that cycle when I heard that one day you're talking about a little bit on design, and tell us a little bit about the cycle of your training and how it works, so people get a sense that they did come to a training of yours, what they would get, and they would get putting their hands on it and doing it. Tell us a little bit about that, Ryan.
Yeah. Well, I figured this out. I've only been coaching business now for 3 years, so I'm still fairly new to the space. But one thing I figured out probably 6 months ago is the reason I'm coaching, the reason I'm doing this is to heal my past. Now, what that means is like I'm trying to heal this previous version of myself. And I remember being so frustrated, like, man, I should be able to be further along than this. Why can't I figure this out? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? And now what I do is I try to really help other people shave off time. I mean, time is our greatest resource, and most people aren't taking advantage of it, right? And so when I put together these trainings, I was trying to heal my past, right? I was trying to solve these problems that other people hadn't had solutions to. And I also remember going to trainings, going to events and things like that, and feeling really motivated while I was there. And I go home and be like, I don't even know what happened. I was too busy because I just went back to work in my business. I didn't really implement anything. So for me, every single thing I do, whether it's a training, an event, when I'm speaking, I want to make sure whoever's listening has something to implement. If you can just implement one thing, is way better than hearing and getting motivated about 20 different things. So what we do at our trainings, we break it apart. It's a 2-day training. Day one is all about design and install. So we treat this as if someone has zero knowledge about landscape lighting. And we start from the ground up, from the very fundamentals, from what is a transformer, how do you wire that, how do you connect fixtures, what fixtures to use, where to place them, how to connect them, what connections to use, what to avoid. And we start in the classroom so we understand kind of the fundamentals of it. But then what's really exciting is we actually go out to a host property to get our hands dirty. We keep these events small, 25, 30 people max, so that people get a lot of interaction. They're able to get all their questions answered. And no matter what, you'll be able to get your hands dirty so that you can go back to your office, your house, whatever it is, and know that you have the confidence to knock out your very first install without feeling like, I don't know, did he make that seem too easy? Like, we'll go through all those steps. So I love the hands-on portion. The first day is really long. I mean, we go until about 11 o'clock at night, because the last couple hours are in the dark. It's a lighting business. So we want to show you what effect you're creating for your clients. We want you to experience that impact that they're going to experience. And that's the best way to learn design as well, because we'll move fixtures around, show them what different outputs look like, why you would position it a certain way, why you would avoid others. We show them how to quickly set up a demo kit in 10 minutes. So there's a lot of advantage of getting that hands-on training to help people just implement instead of just listen to a speaker for 12 hours.
And then day 2, you're going into the business aspect of it, right, Ryan?
Yeah, that's right. So day 1, we get you covered, design, install. You're like, okay, I got this. But then the next thing is like, how do I sell it, right? And how much do I charge for it? How do I make money? So I've become a pricing just fanatic. I didn't realize this when I was running my business, but I'm really a pricing fanatic, pricing expert. I realized this at some point in my business. I thought I was charging enough, then I couldn't figure out how to grow. And I realized it was because I was pricing for who I was today. But what I realized is like, well, no wonder I can't afford to hire someone to answer the phones. I can't afford to get someone to do sales. I can't afford to get another technician, because I wasn't charging to be able to afford them. So when I included those salaries and those commissions into my overhead, magically weeks later, I had money that I could afford. So a lot of people are pricing like who they want to be or who they are today. And my recommendation is price like who you want to be. So we really have some drills that we go through, some scripts and things that help you demand a premium price to your clients. Then we help with the sales process to make sure that you can close these deals on the spot. We don't want people going back and emailing and doing all that. If someone calls you and they want to know how much landscape lighting costs, you need to be able to deliver that to them on the spot that day and provide them exactly what they want, close the deal, get the deposit check, get them on the schedule. And then the last thing we talk about is marketing. So how do we get in front of these high quality leads so that you're not wasting time with a bunch of tire kickers?
Wow, that is comprehensive. And what I love about the most, here's what I love it most. I'm imagining that end of that first day, after we all went through a class in the beginning of the day, then we hit it out on the road and went to a host property to do a landscape, to implement a landscape lighting plan. And I can imagine everybody, busting their hump, getting this job done. And there's a sense, like anytime we do a job done at like 11 o'clock at night, we've been going all day and everybody's got like a little bit of sweat rolling down their back, but then they all just sit there and let's just everybody take a look at this. And then there's a certain glow that I don't think you can, listening to what you're doing, Ryan, there's a certain glow that I think that the participants are going to get that really can't be replaced by any other kind of training, because you're going to get the satisfaction of seeing the output of your work and your hard work that day. What's it like when the group is just standing around admiring or contemplating what they've just done here as a team? What does that feel like when when those 25 people come together as a group of one saying, hey, we did this? What do you think of that? Is that something that's special?
It's honestly, it might be my favorite part of the whole event, even though like day 2 is all about pricing, sales, marketing. That's where like I get fired up. The first night is my favorite, because what happens is they learn all this stuff. We set up this demo kit, and the demo kit is only 10 to 20 lights. It's not a lot of lights. Mm-hmm. They don't know what this is going to look like. We let everyone kind of have some input. Where do you think this should go based on what you learned so far, right? So they set that up. We wait till it gets dark, so their eyes don't gradually adjust, and then we flip. We leave the lights off, and we wait till it gets dark. We flip the lights on, and every single time I've done these trainings, there's an audible whoa, like they're like whoa, like we just did that, like. And that was like, that was in 10 minutes, like, holy cow. And then what's even more magical, like they're feeling what their future clients are going to feel. I go, okay, let's turn off the demo. We turn off the demo, and then we turn on the lights, the actual installed lights that the host property has. And it's like going up to like, instead of level 10, they go up to a level 11, right? It goes up a whole nother level. And then people are like, what? Like, holy cow. So it is awesome because they get to experience exactly what they're going to help their future clients experience. And that solidifies them as lighting experts. That night, they're like, this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life.
That is great. That is wonderful. Well, Ryan, just like always, when it comes to having a great friend like you on the show and another expert as well, definitely time always is too short. I wish I could go on for another hour. Ryan, how can people get a hold of you if they want to learn more about expanding their current business or starting a new one, and having you kind of guide them on this path to landscape lighting success?
Yeah, a few different resources. One, you talked about the event, Landscape Lighting Live. So if you just go to landscapelightinglive.com, we still have some space available for our May event. And then if you miss that one, or if it sells out before, then you can get on the waiting list for future events. I've got a podcast that I do, which had you on just the other day. So if you guys want to check that out, you should just Google that or go to any podcast platform. It's called Lighting for Profits, giving away a ton of free stuff. Even when you were on the other day, it was like the stuff we were talking about was just awesome. And I know people are going to make more money just by those things. I've got a free Facebook group. So again, if you're like, well, I don't know, I want to kind of dip my toe in it, then join my free Facebook group. But do you want me to post can I post a link or something, or what's the best way to do that?
If you want to do that, I can put it as content in our page on our page that we
Okay.
create. We can put the link inside of one of in our public page. It won't probably won't come up on iTunes or whatever, but it would come up on our website. If you actually go to the source page that we have a host page for all of the podcasts we do. We can definitely put that link there. You want to send it to me, and I'll
Yeah.
put it there.
Yeah, I've actually got like a Linktree link that I could send you where it's got all these links. That might be the best.
That's
So
great.
check out. We'll just send them to your page if they want to find more info. And you can also just get a hold of me on Facebook. Send me a messenger, Ryan Lee, or you can email me at support@ryanleecoaching.com.
Ryan, again, thank you so much for giving us the most precious asset you had. As you said before, it's our time. And definitely this is time for the last 20, 25 minutes that I'm sure every listener who's listening to this is getting excited just thinking about this new exciting venture that everybody could really get involved with. And it's life-changing, truthfully, because it's a service that it sounds like it's a luxury until you experience it. Then it becomes a must-have once you've had it. Like once I've had this in my house, every house I've had after it had to have it. That's why I looked at it like, and it is addictive. And so thank you, Ryan, for taking your time to be on our show.
I love that. One last thing I'll leave people with. People need landscape lighting from you today.
That's it. That says it all. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you on the next episode.